Greetings, and may Thor guide your way. This is not a map of Norway. No, it is a map of invasion. I shall infiltrate using my fake horn, because no Vikings had horns, and I shall sail down here, stab one of those thingies and take their garments, and then I shall rule this kingdom. So, be right back. Oh! Ah, yes. Well, live long and prosper doesn't seem quite right. And the color of this goo here, Be right back. Oh! Yes, the disguise is now completed. I saw no knife. Anyway, welcome to the Northman, the Roman. Today we will be talking about an upcoming game on Kickstarter. This one, Donning the Purple. Well, I am donning the brown at the moment. The warrior's brown. But this game is about the purple. And my muscles aren't big enough for these things, so I'm gonna take those away. Anyway, in this game, you are trying to be the emperor of Rome. By doing so, you have to feed the people. And if the people aren't happy, you won't be happy, because you won't get any victory points, which is the thing of the game, to gain victory points. Now, in this game, it goes from 1 to 3 players. I have not tested 2 players, but I have tested 1 player and 3 player. Now, to get this game going, I'm just going to show you a bit here. And I'm going to go from my glorious Viking voice to my normal voice. Took time to change there. So, let's check out Donning the Purple. Donning the Purple is a game by Petter Skanke Olsen, who also did Kill the King. And this time it's about killing the Emperor. I think maybe I should have a talk with Petter, or maybe have him talk with someone professional. Anyway, in this game, you're trying to be the Emperor, because the Emperor is the one that gets all the points and all the glory. But being the Emperor is also the most expensive thing, because the Emperor has to pay from his own pocket to feed the people. And the problem here with the people is they are always threatened by invading barbarians. So, let's see how the game plays. At the beginning of the game, you will be delivered one of 3 roles by random. Either as the Emperor himself, or as a Senate member, or this one here over here, which is the heir of the Emperor. So when the Emperor dies, this player will become the new Emperor. Just normal. But of course, the heir might be killed. Putting this token back here, now there's no heir. Now if the Emperor dies, it goes to whoever is on the rightmost position here on the Senate. So of course, balancing when you are on the rightmost position here, when the Emperor dies, and killing the heir in time is kind of tricky. Also, the Emperor can, of course, make himself the heir if no one else is the heir already. So these are the 3 roles in the game: the Emperor, the heir, and whoever's on the Senate. Now, the Senate role isn't any particular player, it could be anyone, and the Emperor will shift during the game. But the game only lasts 4 rounds, or 4 years, indicated here. At the end of the 4th round, the game is over, and whoever has the most victory points wins the game. So, to get victory points, you need to maintain happiness in Rome, indicated by this one. And this gives you victory points based on the happiness level of the people. So, if they're not happy, you won't get a lot of points. Also, if they are very unhappy, they will self-kill you, the Emperor, and, well, choose a new one. And it might be your heir. But okay, you see the map here. It's a traditional Mediterranean map. But of course, here we have many provinces. So all of these pieces here are provinces contained in a region. You see the red zone here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 regions indicated by also these boxes here. And we have Italy and Rome, or Roma. So Roma can never be taken over by barbarians, but barbarians will be used by these tokens here. So this is of course a prototype. So all the pieces here are subject to change, and I really hope they will be upgraded, but more on that later. The red ones are your legionnaires. Your trusty legionnaires will fight off these barbarians if you manage. Then we have these tokens here, which indicate famine. Because on the map, you can see here, and here, and here, and here, and here, we produce food for the kingdom, or the empire. So if these produce food for you, then it's okay. But most likely, during the game, they will stop producing food because of famine, or barbarians standing in the way, and expensive market. So all of these things combined, the happiness level might go down and they kill you. So you have to balance that. But okay, how do we actually play the game? To set up the game, all players place their tokens in Roma, as well as one of their resident buildings, like so. Then we place 2 legions in each of the capitals, indicated by the star here. Then we place the grain on the 2 spots over here, and the happiness marker we place on 5, also indicated by this line here. Now we are ready to begin. And of course, each player gets their playing board. Each year we go through 8 phases, and they are handily printed here on the right side of the board. The phase is, first, incoming enemies. Each year there will be enemies, so we roll the dice, and for each region we check province 1. And each of those provinces we add 2 barbarians. So here is region 1, and region 1, and region 1. Okay, so we have 2 barbarians trying to get into where there are legionnaires. 2 versus 2. So they're not stronger, so we just ignore them. Lucky us. Then they will try to move to the capital in the region. To conquer a region, they need to be more than whoever's inside. So they will want to go in here, but they can't because it's 2 versus 2, so they're not stronger. But these will move here to number 2. These will also move to number 2 because it's number 1. And no one here, and that's it for movement. Then we go to second phase, harvest grain, and this is where the emperor gets help from the people to get food for the empire. Then it's time to harvest grain. So we use this 4-sided die here. We roll it. Region 2. So region 2 will now have famine. That's not good, so they will not produce any food. So this one in Dacia with 3 food, not gonna happen. But we take 3 here, plus 6 here, so it's 9. Plus 3 from Roma, so 12, plus 3 from Gallia, so 15. So 15 food, and place those markers on the empire or emperor's board to indicate how much food is given this year. Then there's a draw cards phase, and the emperor will meet very harsh futures in this event deck. But also we get more actions in these forum cards. And these cards, you count 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that needs to be resolved this year. And they are mostly bad for the emperor. Like this one, lots of enemies. Roll the dice and place additional barbarians in the provinces. Oh man. Then we have this one, which is a volcanic eruption. Oh, it will cause more famine and stuff. Real bad. Famine! Yeah, more famine. Just what we needed, right? And approaching enemies. Yeah, we needed more of those. And finally, the Praetorian Guards wants more money. So all of these are issues that the emperor has to resolve during this year. These are real bad events for the emperor. And sometimes you only give benefits to your opponents as well. Ugh. So the card added a lot of enemies on the map. And here we have 3 now and 2 on this side. But also the card told us to move these now. So we have 3, 4, 5 versus 2. Of course, they're going to go in and eliminate the legionnaires there. And you have lost a capital. And 5 enemies in one province, that really hurts. It's hard to get rid of those. You need to send your legions from the other side of the country or continent and have more than 5. And these might increase as well during next year. It's real hard. Oh man, I wouldn't want to be the emperor this time. But after this is done, we also draw our forum card, and this will give us new action spaces. So here we can move from our used circle to unused circle. More on that later. Each player gets one of these sheets here, and this is their starting roll. So we have 11 of these stamina tokens, and one is already spent because of the event that told the emperor to do that. Or pay money, so he chose to use stamina instead. Put your provinces here, and your monuments here, and the last province you put in Roma. The heir token you give to the heir player in the same spot, so here. Then the emperor will take this sheet here, add it to his own, which will give him more actions during the game. Put the 3 aqueducts here, and here you have the indicated grain that was collected in the harvest grain step, so 15. And also the emperor has more actions than other players available. Each player also receives money, so 15 for each player, except the emperor who only gets 10. Boo-hoo! But he is also the emperor, so he has some other things to disposal. So let's just give this money out. You see a lot of blue cubes here on the board now, and those are enemies. So not so good, but it's kind of comforting in a way, because all of these provinces, they don't need food from you. So that also means that you can't collect taxes from those provinces, so that's bad again. But still, not having to give food to all these provinces, it's a good thing. So I'm not sure about thumbs up or down, whatever, but I'm gonna use up for good and down for bad, no matter what they say in history or the Hollywood movies. I'm a Viking anyway, so I don't care. I will make my own rules. Whoa, whoa. The Senate player puts his token, one of these Senate tokens here. Let's see, that's the green one. Here, and that's his starting power to just start in the Senate. So, as I said, when the emperor dies, if there is no heir, then the rightmost senator will be the new emperor. And then there's a fourth phase, the most exciting phase, player actions. So let's just take a look at the player board here. We have action spaces. All of these are action spaces, and you activate them by putting a token here. So the difference are, this one will move your token, and the primary function of your token is to move around and destroy the barbarians. Your token has a strength of 3, so it can destroy 2 and 1 sized barbarians, not 4. Or not 3 sizes even. This one is a bribe senator. It's to add your token to the rightmost position, and you pay by the value that is indicated on the rightmost position. So in this case it's 2. And here you can try to assassinate either the rightmost senator or the emperor. And the emperor doesn't want to assassinate himself, so we're going to skip that one. And you see, the cost is here, 5. Also take note these C's here on some of the action spaces. That means they can be copied. But here is a build estate, costs 3 money, and you add this to the building or production queue. Same with monument, you add it to the production queue. And each of these actions require you to use one of your stamina tokens. If this runs out for whatever reason, you die. And dying will just give you 1 negative point, and then you reset your stamina. That's kind of great. But you don't want a negative point, and you want to make sure that you are the emperor. Here are some spaces for monuments, so if you get to build a monument, you can just add it here. And now your pawn and everything else would be 1 plus strength. But this is now worth 3 strength with this one, so now you can take 2 barbarians as well, not just 1. And that's kind of good. Here you get 1 more pip on a die when you try to assassinate, here or here. And here you just get 2 victory points at the end of the game. And that's also nice. In addition to all these points, each player is given a random hidden agenda card, and these can also be fulfilled. Each step here can give you points, both positive and negative. So you want to make sure you have all these, well, all the positives at the end of the game. If you have 50 or more gold, wow, that's a lot of money. After all players have done their actions, we do this phase, place buildings. Constructing buildings is a great way to increase your income, as well as getting stronger if you have monuments. And these residents here, they will give you more income in the tax phase. Here is the production line, and each round the first 4 buildings here, depending on the number of players, will be built on the board. Now, whoever's in the rightmost position, the Senate, can exchange 2 of those buildings. So it's black, so of course he wants to get in the first 4 rows. And he can choose either one of the green ones or the white ones to take his place behind there. So these 4 buildings will now be built in this order, and you can place it in any region that is free for barbarians and free of other buildings. The rest will just slide to the left. After that's done, we just take number 6, distribute food, which means to feed the empire. That's expensive. So this one here is crucial for the emperor to keep low, really low. At this moment, the emperor has 15 food at his cash. So what he wants to do is just to pay the remainder. And it's 19 provinces now, 25 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 19 provinces that need food. And he has 15, he only needs 4 more, so 4 times 3, 12 money. If the emperor cannot pay 12 money, he pays as much as he can. And if he cannot, this happiness marker will go down for each province that isn't happy or isn't fed. If he feeds all, well, happiness goes up even more, and he gets points. And whether it's fed or not, we collect taxes. Of course we need taxes. And then he gets money after that for each provinces. So he gets 19 money. So he gets money back after that. And in addition, you get 5 money for each of your residents that's on the board. Great. And then at the end of the year, we just take away 1 famine token from each region. And we start over. Take this marker down here. Ready for a new year. Incoming enemies, harvest grain, and so forth. So when this marker has gone to 4 years, and everybody has done their actions, and we've taken all the steps to number 8, the game is over. And whoever has the most victory points wins the game. And of course, we also have these hidden agenda cards, which is now resolved, and we get positive and negative points based on your outcome. And then there are the plot cards. These cards can be played at any time. They can steal money from the emperor, they can kill the heir, even take the heir for yourself. Many nasty stuff here, and it's very useful as well. Also, if there is an assassination attempt either at the Senate or the emperor, you can use these cards to boost that die roll. So, very nice stuff in those cards. And we all start with 1 card at the beginning, and the emperor gets 2 even. And we want more of these. You want to have them handy because they just give you more options. So killing barbarians increase the odds of getting those, because you roll the dice, and if you get a certain number, you get a card. I think it's 1, then you get a card. The main focus of the game depends on being the emperor or not. Being the emperor, you really want to take care of your empire, of course. But not being the emperor, you also want to make sure that the empire doesn't crumble, because if it does, it's game over and nobody wins. So if you want to win, you have to help the emperor somehow. But if you help him too much, you just give him points. So there's a fine balance there. Where do you want to strike at the emperor, or when do you want to do stuff? Timing is always an issue here. So moving around these pieces is basically just to take away the barbarians, the same with the legionnaires. But when you kill the barbarians, the people get happier. And you also roll some dice to get money for those barbarians that die. So you want to do that as well, because you get a reward, and sometimes you can even get some stamina back. And that's great. So the game itself plays very nicely. The actions are kind of self-explanatory. You just tell it once and it makes sense. Of course, there are some minor details here and there in the rules, like you get points for killing barbarians in the capitals and stuff like that. So that can you read it for yourself. But the game itself is very straightforward. Playing Down in the Purple is a breeze. It's easy to get into, it's easy to explain the rules, but what's not easy is how to play the game. Now, that's not a bad thing. It's not that it's hard to understand what to do. it's hard to understand why you should do it, you know? If you're playing this for the first time, all three of you, and you're not being aggressive, most likely the Emperor is going to win, whoever starts the Emperor. You need to be aggressive at the right moments, and you also need to use your actions wisely. Each player gets 2 measly actions per year. 2 actions, that's not a lot. Of course, you can copy actions. So if the Emperor or anyone else does an action like moving this token here, so places a stamina token here, he moves his token, so black, so 1, 2, 3, takes the blue one, increase happiness and roll dice, gets 2 money. Then I, in the turn order, can copy it by doing the same thing. I need to use the stamina token, of course, and I can do the same. So 1, I don't want to. But green can do it. He can copy his action, and oh, he's standing with barbarians already. So 1, kill those, and 2, for instance. So each of these actions is normal actions, except for assassination, can be copied. So you get the option to have more than 2 actions each round. But you spend your stamina. And remember, if your stamina runs out, you die. So dying here is not so big a deal. You get 1 negative point, and that can be a big deal because the points doesn't go really that high in this game. But if you are low on stamina and you are next in line to be the Emperor, well, let's say I am like this on the air, the Emperor dies. Oh, I am the Emperor now and I have 1 health. This is a health. Yeah, I'm not going to last long. So you need to time it very well. So maybe I get points this round. If this is the end of the year and this is the situation and I get points, hooray, I got what I wanted. I got the points. So if I die next round, that's not a bad thing. So all these things make this game very entertaining to play. It's hard to really understand when to do things, and playing with 3 players, 2 of them really need to cooperate a bit, because I don't want to make him the Emperor, I want him to make me the Emperor. Well, we don't want to help each other enough to become the Emperor, but just enough that the Emperor will die. So there is a 3-way struggle here. The Emperor just wants to be left alone and need help with these barbarians. It's very interesting. Now, I have enjoyed this game quite a lot. Also, I tried the solitaire version, and in that you only play with 1 role, being the Emperor, but you're playing against the Senate, which is an automated process. At each round it will add 2 of those and get points based on the number of Senate tokens here. And you need to take care of all these legionnaires or barbarians, and everything is up to you. But you get 5 actions each round, which is just plenty more than 3. What's really painful in solitaire are the event deck. It's designed to hurt the Emperor, and you are the Emperor with no help from other players. And it's hard, it's challenging, just the way a solitaire should be. And I like it that you're playing against an opponent, in quotes, and not just getting a certain score or just trying to beat your own score. So that's a thumbs up from me as well. Game length is just right. It takes about an hour to play, and that's exactly what I feel the game should play. So, spot on there with the playtime. Also, the solitaire takes a bit more or less depending on how much analysis you want to give in the game, and that is of course an issue with all games, is if you have one person thinking too much. But there isn't too much to think about here. You only have 2 actions and you can copy some based on your stamina. So you can't be certain of anything, especially because of the plot cards that can really mess things up. So I really like this game. But this is of course a prototype. And being a prototype, I have prototype components. What I really want to see is better components. These tokens here are real thin. Also, the number of tokens from each value, it's kind of limited. You have this many 1s and this many 5s, and I always seem to run out of those tokens. It's not so fun. Also, when playing solo, I run out of the victory point tokens as well, but then I of course could use proxies with money instead of points. Just limited. Also, the grain tokens are just enough that you can alter the position of these 3 spaces, but you can always have the right amount. I wouldn't mind just a bit extra, you know. Say you have 11 grain and you lose 3. Well, okay, so 11 minus 3 is 8, so 5, 6, 7. You have to juggle these tokens around, and yeah, that's not so fun actually. One thing I'd like to see with the grain is like a multiplication table. In Bunny Kingdoms, they did it excellently. They just have a card, shows you the multiplication table and the values you need to get enough food for grain, because the math can just be a bit strange, especially if you consider all these tokens here on the grain board and how many provinces there are, and you just have to keep things in your head and then calculate the difference, and yeah, that would be great. So of course this is a prototype, so things will change for the Kickstarter. I also hope that these cardboards here will be thicker, because they're a bit flimsy now and they are starting to bend in the corner already. And the board could be, I don't know, 20% bigger, my opinion. So the components leave a lot to be desired. But they are functional and they do what they need to do, but I just want to see better stuff. So I'm just crossing my fingers for that, because I really like the game. Now, the rules are also an issue for me. They're very clear, but it's so wordy. You know, many words to explain the same things in a more than overcomplicated manner, so to say. It's just over-explaining things. And reading through the rules, and you're reading so much, and then later on it's repeating the same things with a long text and maybe an alteration in the middle. You kind of forget the previous rule. And it's kind of hard to keep track on this so simple game. So I give him feedback on this one to the designer, and he says this is being taken care of, so I really hope so, because as it is now, the rulebook isn't so good. I would just want it more condensed and more concise, so it's better or easier to go back and look it up and remember all those steps, because there's so much text in the rules as it is now. But being the components and the Kickstarter and prototype, I'm not going to criticize the game for that now, because it's a prototype, as I said. I really like this game. It just gives you just what you need in the game. One last issue for me is just the number of players. It has 3 players as maximum, and for me, in my playgroup, that is not the optimal way to go. Normally it's 4 or 5 players per table. So if that is for you, 3 players, then this is a great choice. Also for solitaire play, I really like that one. But being just maximum 3, why not 4? Why not 4? But that is a very personal thing for me, just depending on the playgroups, of course. But I really like this game, so I hope that this goes well on Kickstarter, and I'm really looking forward to see what kind of stretch goals will be offered there. Thank you so much for watching this Roman review. I really hope you liked this video and it was helpful to you. And I just started this own channel, the Northman, to off-branch my Norwegian site. Normally I have videos on the Dice Tower as the Northman, so please check that out. But the Dice Tower doesn't really have reviews for Kickstarter games, so that's why it's on its own channel. But please check out all the other videos I have, probably over here. Here's a list of my other videos, in English of course, and down here you can see the Norwegian videos if you want that instead. Now this is just in English because of time constraints again. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have fun playing, and yeah, check this out when it comes out on Kickstarter. See ya!